Hello, welcome back to another edition of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. I am your host, as always, the Mouth of Michigan, Rob Bendyka. With me, as always, my co-host, the Merc Zone, Mike Merkel.
I made it this time.
He made it. He's here. We're alive. We're doing well. Hope you guys are doing the same. Mike, with this whole coronavirus thing, we still, there's still some things going on in the sports world. We're going to bring that action, but, a lot of what's going on in the world is a pretty big downer in the world right now, I would say, right? But we're here today because we are about to bring that little bit of hope, that glimmer through the clouds, so to speak, this week, because we still have, once again, tons of stuff to go over. We're going to talk about WrestleMania Day 2 and then compare it to Day 1. If you missed our Day 1 coverage of WrestleMania this past year, go back and listen to our last week's episode. It'll be up there on all your streaming services. Listen to all of our archives to listen to that great content. But we're going to talk about Day 2 WrestleMania. We're going to talk about the XFL and how, unfortunately, as of this recording, there's no plans for Season 2, and we're going to talk about why and how bummed me and Mike are. I'm pretty devastated, I'm not going to lie. I bought way too much Battlehawks merch, is what I'm saying. Second half of the show, we're going to do another mock draft, similar to last week, but this time I got a trade proposition for Mike. We're both going to play Bob Quinn once again. We're going to be making a trade. We'll go through that, and then we'll also see, because of that trade, okay, what other picks are we able to acquire? What other prospects? How does that draft maybe look if the board falls in a similar fashion the way we think it's going to? And then we're going to talk about the AFC conference quarterbacks. Last week we did the NFC, so if you missed that, be sure to go back and listen to episode 71 where we did the rankings of the NFC quarterbacks. This week we're doing AFC. We got a lot of heavy hitters. We got Patty Mahomes. We got Lamar Jackson. We got, name another guy. We got guys. We're going to talk about every single one, the pros, the pros, the cons of them, what their quarterback situation looks like on each team, and we rank them in the conference and in the division. So Mike, our resident quarterback here, is the one to go to for that. But before we start off into any of this great topics today, we have a major announcement this week. I teased it. We teased it on our social medias, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on everything we could possibly talk about. And now is the time, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever in the I'm Always Right Sports podcast history. You wanted it, you got it. We are officially going to have I'm Always Right Sports Podcast merchandise. That's right. We are lucky enough to be partnered up with a website called BelowTheCollar.com. You'll see the link in the description on YouTube or in the description on each individual podcast going forward. We were just able to land an agreement this past week, thank the Lord. So thankfully, we are going to be having our own merchandise very soon. Like I said, I will post the link pretty much everywhere once this episode drops live. It's a huge moment for us. We thank you all for your support. It's really big. I really hope you guys continue to support the show. And the best way to support the show is to wear the merch. So we're going to be coming out with just one shirt originally. It's going to be that sweet looking logo that you see right there. That's going to be the very first shirt. Just as a spoiler. But more designs will be coming. We'll be, working hand in hand with them. If you know the company ProWrestlingTees.com, it is the same company that owns that website. It's the same people that will be printing our stuff. So I'll be posting that link. It's going to be BelowTheCollar.com. You'll be able to find us right now, actually on the opening page of the site. You'll be able to see this brand new logo out there. So we really appreciate the support. Please tell everybody that you know that we have merchandise out there. The additions will be made to our site, IamAlwaysRightPC.com. A link will be provided there as well, so you can always stay up to date and you can always buy the latest and greatest merchandise for ours, for the show, to be able to support us in any way you can. We really appreciate it. All right, Mike. Big news out of the way. Let's jump right in. WrestleMania Day 2. We're here, ready to go. Thoughts on Day 2, just in a vacuum for a second, okay. Right? Like we talked about Day 1, we'll talk about that, and we'll do a compare and contrast in a second. But Day 2, just from if that was the show, it was just Day 2. How you feeling about Day 2? Like, what's your grade?
Not very good.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, it's not very good.
No.
Outside of Rhea and Charlotte,
yep.
And parts of the Firefly Funhouse.
Yep.
That the show kind of hits pretty hard below average. I'd probably give it about a C-ish.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it was very good. And I gave Night 1 a B-, C+.
Right.
So, as you can tell, WrestleMania as a whole for me is about a C+. But Night 2, outside of those two things, probably
right.
see.
Right, and it's hard because when you do 2 nights, right, there's going to be comparisons immediately,
Yes.
right? You can't get around it. However, I think I agree with you. Day 2 did not deliver for me in a variety of reasons, right? I mean, I'm glad that they pulled the trigger on Drew McIntyre. I'm very happy with that. However, I will say that, quite frankly, I don't think the match was what it could have been.
No.
You know what I mean? I thought it was a little bit better than than Goldberg and Strowman, but that's not saying a lot.
I wouldn't say it's better. I just think that you cared more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Maybe
like, I don't
right.
care about Strowman and Goldberg, and I wanted Drew to win. So
Right.
I was like, this
Right.
seems
more
better
invested,
because
right.
I was more invested.
Right.
But I think the matches themselves were literally the exact same thing.
Yeah, right. And so for me, I'm glad they pulled the trigger on Drew. I'm glad he's the champ now. It sucks that we're not, we're finally going to get some live TV again, once again, thankfully. But yeah, you're right. I think maybe that is part of it, that we were, a little more invested in that match than just a makeshift match. That you're just like, okay, well, I guess Braun's going to win the title now for some weird reason. But outside of that, I thought the Firefly Funhouse, while interesting, while entertaining, while, unique and different, I think because of how good the Boneyard match was, I think it hurt the Firefly Funhouse a bit. 2, it wasn't really a match. You know what I mean? It was more of like a segment, I guess is the best way of putting it. I mean, when you only have 2 moves the entire show, or the entire match, it didn't feel like a match. You know what I mean? It was weird. It was creative. I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was cool. But did I think that it was necessarily... like, oh my gosh, like, this is like the great, you know what I mean? Like, it was cool to pull out the NWO stuff with Cena because, he's never turned heel, and, the little hits about the Bellas and this and that. Like, it was very creative. It was unique. But from a match perspective, you were just like, all right, you beat him. You know what I mean?
I mean, there wasn't much, technically to the match. I think it was interesting to tell the beating you down psychologically, because that's not really stuff that's gone on most time. Usually, you think of a wrestling match as beating the crap, physically beating somebody down.
Right.
Like we saw in a Last Man Standing match that went 38 minutes. You really have to physically beat somebody down to a count of 10, or whatever the case may be. I feel like this one went a different avenue, which I don't think many people are expecting
sure.
or are ready for. When you're a wrestling fan, you're like, oh, let's watch these 2 guys knock the crap out of each other. But this one was a lot of, I'm going to psychologically beat you down to the point where, you're done. You're not going to be able to continue not because physically you can't continue, but psychologically and mentally you're like, I just can't keep going anymore.
Right.
And that's kind of what it was. And then he finished him with whatever, the Sister Abigail or thing, whatever it was. But I think it was all the psychological that made the match way more enjoyable.
For sure, absolutely. Now you hit on, do you think that if they would have flipped those, do you think if Firefly went first on night 1, and then they did the Boneyard day 2, do you think that the Firefly Funhouse would be getting more positive reviews? Because you saw it first and you're like, okay, that was bad, and then you go, wow, but the Boneyard match was amazing.
See,
I think you look at, once again, it's in a vacuum.
Yeah, the problem is I think you compare the 2 because those are the only 2 that were off-site matches.
Right.
So when you compare the 2, the Boneyard match is just better.
Right.
No offense, it's just a better match. It just makes more sense. It was actually a wrestling match, kind of.
Yeah. It was a fight.
It was like an actual fight, where the other one's like a psychological torture thing. So I think if it went first, I think it would have got positive buzz the first day.
Yeah.
But I think after you see the Boneyard match on the second day, you would have been like, wait, that Boneyard match is really good.
Yeah.
That's what the Firefly Funhouse could have been, no matter what. So.
For sure. Let's talk about 2. Let's talk Edge, Randy Orton. Now, this one's the one I think that got the most people talking, positive and negative. Obviously, great to see Edge back in action, right? It was nice to see that. But also at the same time, it went heavy, right? It ran long. It felt like I felt at times it did drag a bit, you know what I mean? I don't think necessarily that I disliked it as much as maybe some others did. I know some people are just crucifying this thing for a bevy of reasons, maybe rightfully so or not, but what were your thoughts on the match? Because I felt like with what they had, the circumstances around it, I felt like they did as well as they could have for the most part. I do think that they would have benefited quite a bit from having a crowd and being able to kind of work the crowd a little bit and go in the crowd and back out, blah, blah, blah. But, at the same time, considering that Edge's been off for 9 years, goes almost 40 minutes, that's pretty damn impressive.
I think that the problem I have with this match is the length.
Mm-hmm.
I liked at the very beginning, he comes out and Randy comes out of nowhere with the RKO and kind of starts the match on the beatdown.
Right.
I like the ending with the emotional ending where he doesn't want to end it, but he has to win the match and like all that stuff. I think the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes were good. I think the middle 32 minutes are the part that really like kills it for everybody.
Yeah.
I think if the middle part, like you could have taken out like the whole segment going like into the conference room or wherever they were. Like you could take out whole chunks of this match and it doesn't change anything.
Right.
Like it's not like everywhere they went there was like an impactful move that like really changed how the match was. Like they fought in the equipment room for like 15 minutes and at the end they're just walking out of it to go to a different spot. Like you could just cut that whole part and nothing would have changed.
Right.
Because Orton was still on the attack.
Right.
So I think there were just huge chunks that you could just like, we could cut this out and make it 18, 16 minutes and still been as impactful and as good. And
I do think that the editing of the match itself did not lend itself to that either, right? You got cameramen getting knocked out, this and that, where I'm like, okay, but at the same time, I will say, from a performer's perspective, it did feel like a fight. It wasn't clean. It wasn't like something super choreographed, right? It was like, it felt like, in all honesty, like it felt like they're like, no, I hate you, and you know what I mean, like, and there was times like I need a break because like you just punched me 15 times, like it added, I feel like, a little bit of realism to it. But I think also to your point, I think it ran a little too long. Where it's like, okay, if this was legit, you're not fighting for 38 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it was a hard line to walk where it was like, because at moments you felt like, okay, you know what I mean, like they're really going at it. They're just trying like. And I like the fact that they took their time in between some of the, like they're pushing the weight bench into them or they're doing this.
Yeah.
Or, it was because, you're thinking, you're in the moment, you're like, it's not a planned spot. It's I don't know what I'm going to do to you. All I know is that I want to hurt you. You know what I mean? So I can appreciate the little nuances they were trying to achieve. I think this match was severely affected by having no crowd and by not being on this grand stage where they had the weapons and they would have been able to, I just feel like... With way it was set up where they're like, okay, we got to kind of like do something weird here and kind of walk around the building and do stuff. I think if they would have just went through the crowd and, did some step spots and that kind of stuff, I think that people would have been like, okay, yeah, that was good. That was a good match. You know what I mean? So a little harder to see. Anything else that is memorable from night 2 necessarily? I mean, Drew winning the title, cool, right? Charlotte, Rhea opening the show was a great opener. It was a great match. Thought that was really well done. Is there anything else for you that really stood out where you were just like, I could, like, if that match came on today, you'd be like, I'll sit down and watch this again?
I don't know if I'd sit down and watch, but I do think the 5-way women's match was better than I thought it was going to be.
Right, for sure.
And
it made Tamina look strong.
It made Tamina look strong, and I think I really liked and maybe this because SmackDown did a good job of this too, really building the tension between Bayley and Sasha.
Yes,
because I did.
Yes.
Because from what I remember, at least in the match, because I guess I'd have to watch it again. There was a part where like Sasha was either getting pinned or pinning somebody, and Bayley was like on the outside and could have helped. I think Sasha was getting pinned.
Yeah, and she was in the ring and she just kind of watched like
and she was like sitting there. She was like, I could break it up, but at the same time, I'd rather go 1-on-1 against Lacey than 1-on-1 against Sasha. Right. I think that subtle like storytelling, and then going on to SmackDown on Friday, which builds to that, is being like, hey, Sasha will fight you, Tamina, to get to me.
Right.
And like Sasha's like, why would I fight you when you're the champion? Yes. I think that subtle storytelling is going to lead to a great match at a SummerSlam or whatever.
And you're really furthering Bayley's dominance and really going with her hard as a heel, which I think is great. I'm loving Bayley as a heel. I do really, really.
Well, because
really
I love it because they're making it like they're subtly making Sasha Banks a babyface, and someone that's like, I don't want to fight her because she's that good. Yeah. Like they're subtly building that up, where it's not like she just.
So when the blow up finally happens, it's like. Yes. Like we've seen it all along. It's about time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
And I just think that it's better than like Aleister Black beating up just like some random jobber every single week because that doesn't really build you up. But like she's gonna get through Tamina, she's gonna get through these people, and Bayley every single week going, I don't want to like do anything to have.
You're my biggest competition, so I'm gonna make sure that we're best friends.
Yeah, it makes it feel like Sasha's like almost gonna be unstoppable. Yes. So Bayley's like, I don't want to fight you because of that. Which makes it really good.
Very subtle storytelling too. Okay. Night 1, night 2, you give night 1 the edge. Right?
100%.
Okay, so now what's your... if we're gonna be, say 5 years from now, right? We're talking about WrestleMania, whatever, okay? And we're we're talking about it. So and so wins the world title, yada yada yada.
Yes.
Are you ever gonna look back at this WrestleMania outside of the fact that there was no fans, right?
Yes.
And then because of what's going on in the world right now, is this a WrestleMania you're gonna look back on fondly, just from a strictly match quality standpoint? Look back on and go, that wasn't a bad show, or are we gonna look back on it like say 27 or something and go, boy.
I think I'll say I will look back on it and remember like the 3 or 4 matches that were like impactful. Like there's stuff like you can go back to like I can go back to like WrestleMania 26. That was the first one I really watched.
Yeah.
But like you can go back to like 17. I can name you like 8 matches from that show.
Right.
Because I don't think it'll ever be that. But I do think the top 4, like the Boneyard match. I think you always go back to like, what happened at 36, the Boneyard match.
Right.
Or
exactly.
McIntyre finally beat Lesnar.
Right.
And stuff like I think those moments you'll remember. But I don't think there's anything
that stands out.
I don't think
necessarily.
I don't think this is ever going to be like I'm going to go back and watch 36 again, Mania. But it's also like, I'll watch the Boneyard match again.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Yeah. And because it was a different feel, it was
different
unique.
feel.
It was never been done before, for sure. Right.
Well, I'll watch McIntyre win the title again.
Yeah. Right. I'd watch Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan again. I thought that match was fantastic. I don't know why no one's talking about that. I thought it was good. I thought the ending fell flat, but outside of the ending, the actual last move of the match, I thought the match itself was very good. Let's talk real quick on just to kind of piece this, put a bow on this. How much credit do you give WWE for still trying to put on a pretty good show?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't phenomenal. It's not WrestleMania 17. No WrestleMania's even come close to it. But it, I could say it was better than other Manias for sure. You know what I mean?
I think if anything, it's going to be remembered.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think we've gone back. I think like 32 through 34 is a perfect example.
Right.
Where I'll go, do you remember this match at 33? And you'll be like, no. Or it'll be like, who was like the second match in 34? I don't know.
No idea.
I think 36 and 5 years from now, I could be like, hey, who won the Universal title at 36?
Right.
And no matter if you like it or not, you'll be like, I remember Braun Strowman winning it.
Right.
Or you'll be like,
Roman was out.
Yeah, it'll be like, what did
right.
Taker do at 36? Oh, he was in that Boneyard. Like, I think those, like, I think you'll remember this Mania. I don't, whether for good or for bad reason, I think you'll remember it.
Right. For sure.
Other than like these other ones that kind of match together.
Right. I give him credit for still going on with it. Whatever your thoughts on or on the monetary aspects of it, we're not going down that road. But I will say the fact that they went out there, that the talent went out there and still put on a hell of a performance and tried to go out there and give people an entertaining show, regardless of situation. Because quite frankly, it's kind of hard to do that craft in front of nobody without like being able to like stop. Hey, maybe we do this instead, and like and for it to be serious, and then for it to be legitimate, and the effort was there, the thought was there. It was that's the kind of thing that you really you like to see from the talent. So I give WWE a lot of credit for that. Let's talk now. Well, let's shift a little bit from Vince McMahon's baby to his other baby that may not be doing so good. The XFL. Now the XFL has come out this past week and basically said they are ceasing operations up until this point because the season got cut short due to COVID-19, right?
Yes.
Ratings were dropping every single week. They were still the highest rated show on their respective channels, but numbers were dropping. We get half a season worth of XFL football. We've talked ad nauseum about how much we really liked the presentation. I thought the gameplay was good enough to get us another week, another season. Your thoughts on the XFL basically saying, yeah, we're done?
I mean, there's not a lot you can do. They're not the NFL. Like, if the NFL was in this direct spot, they'd be like, we'd either cancel or do whatever, but we'll come back next year because we have the money and everyone wants it, whatever.
Right.
XFL it's kind of just like the additional league, so it's not like the big four. So it has a lot more trouble with that. I do think that eventually it will come back when everything goes back to normal. Maybe not like this, maybe not like directly next year, but I think if you give it a couple years and everything goes back to like completely.
Remember now, Vince is like 80.
Yeah, I know, but
you know what I mean. I get it. He's a freak genetically, but he's 80.
Yeah, I think it can come back.
Right.
And I hope it comes back because I think it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it was too. I thought it provided a nice void. It was a filler for a void that once football's done, you can still invest in it. And it honestly was, you know what it did for me or anything else? It just made me able to, like, because Lions games are so stressful all the freaking time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like, you know, you feel the same way with other teams, right? Like with a Seattle or whatever, where you're just like, I want them to win. Like, with all of my being, I want them to win this game, right? That's the same way we feel with the Lions a lot of times, where, you know, every week it's like, how do we find another way to screw this up? Where with this league, it was like, yeah, we found a team, we supported a team, but it was like, win or lose, it's just fun to just kind of like take a step back for a second and just go, let's just watch it. Just for the sake of the sport. Not so much like, I have so much riding on this. Like, it's not going to ruin my day, the Battlehawks to win this game. Now, do I want them to win? Yes, but is it going to kill me? Like, is it going to make my week a lot worse, like if the Lions lose? Like, for me, the Lions lose on Sunday, it makes me pissed for the whole rest of the week. I'm a miserable bastard the entire time, right? So, for me, it's like, it was a nice little reprieve where I can still be a fan, still have some interest, but not be like all in where I can just go, oh man, like, we just got to make a play here. Like, come on, you know.
I think the only thing I would change about the XFL is when they play. I think they need to change it to a summertime if they did come back.
Yeah.
Because I think it's hard with the NBA there, especially because Sunday is not normally a big NBA game, but they always have one game on Sunday that's like Lakers Clippers or something, where it takes all the people away and stuff. I think that they need, if they hit a summertime market, because baseball is a very like casual, it's a fun sport to watch, it's very casual, but you don't have to watch every single baseball game because there's 162 of them, where I think like weekends you could dedicate to XFL
well, there's so many
football.
through the week too. It's like, geez,
exactly, you can get your 4 games in during the week, and then on the weekend you watch XFL football and go back. I think during the basketball season it's hard because you're like, oh, I really want to watch Lakers Clippers, but I also want to watch Battlehawks. And now you have to choose. Where I think there's not as much. I have to watch this game in baseball in June because they play a 3-game series also, so you can get one of them.
Yeah, right, for sure. Hope the XFL comes back. I'd love to see it back. I don't know if it will. You know, people are kind of making fun of it a little bit. They're like, well, that's less time than before. I'm like, it's not the same.
It would have definitely gone for 3 years at least.
Right. Yeah. If we would have not had this, if we didn't have this whole virus thing going on, I definitely think that it had a chance to be the first league really to be like, hey, you know, like we're not rivaling the NFL. They've never claimed to rival the NFL. It was just more of a, hey, there's an alternative here that you can watch after the NFL kind of thing, which was nice. We saw a couple guys get signed.
I was going to say, I mean, how many guys from the original XFL got signed to NFL teams?
Besides Tommy Maddox, I don't know of any.
Because already you got Jordan Ta'amu, you had PJ Walker, and you had a whole bunch of...
I know Storm Norton, former Lion, he was, I think, on Tampa Bay, I think. He got signed to a deal.
So, like, all these guys in XFL are just getting signed out. So, I think their league was a lot more successful than people think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it shed light on people, and it made it, you know, a guy like PJ Walker coming out of college, there's no reason to even look at him, quite frankly, right? But then when you see him against not as good of competition, but good competition, where you're all kind of, you know, looked at the same, and you see that cream rise to the top, you're like, wow, he dominated for those 5 games. It gets a guy in the door, you know, and like Jordan Ta'amu, 23 years old, you know, running the show for the second best team in the league. You're like, man, he's 23. Maybe there's something we missed. You know what I mean? So be able to get that extra footage, the extra game tape, the extra experience, all that stuff is like, okay, maybe we missed something in our initial evaluation. So now that he went to Kansas City, didn't he?
Yeah.
Jordan Ta'amu. Obviously, he ain't gonna play.
Yeah.
But maybe some other team goes, all right, well, whenever their offensive coordinator gets a head coaching job, maybe he takes Ta'amu with him, and it's like, maybe he could be my. There's a lot of variables here. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be shocked to see a small sub package for PJ Walker in Carolina if that's the way they want to do it with Bridgewater. You know what I mean? So it doesn't shock me. Let me put it that way. So farewell for now to the XFL. Hope you come back. Hope we see him sooner rather than later. But if not, it was fun. Well, I was really hoping we were going to get like an XFL game. Just that little game? Yeah, just for a couple
of those 8 teams.
I know. It's really easy to draft. But yeah, you know, unfortunately it's going away. Hopefully it comes back, like I said. Hopefully we'll see it. All right, after the break, we're going full NFL madness all the way through. We're going to do another mock draft. I'll explain what's going on there. And then we're also going to do an AFC football conference quarterback rankings. Guys, the draft is just a couple of weeks away, so mock draft season's kind of running its course a little bit right before we can talk about the actual draft, which is going to be fun. But so enjoy these mock drafts while we get it. These rankings are coming out. We're going to give you the whole landscape of everything that's going on quarterback-wise in the entire NFL. All that after the break. Stick around. Hey guys, it's the Mouth of Michigan, Rob Mendyka, and we have a huge announcement. We have merchandise. Finally, you've all been asking for it. You've all wanted it, and now we finally made it come to fruition. I'm Always Right Sports Podcast has a brand new merchandise seller, belowthecollar.com/I'm Always Right PC. You can find our official logo shirt there for the low price of $21.99. All proceeds from those shirts goes towards back to the show, and we love you. We appreciate all the support. Now here's part 2 of this week's episode. And welcome back to part 2 of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast, episode 72, a history-making one. 72? 73? You're looking at me.
72.
Is it 72? Alright, yeah, I lose count now. We've done so many of these bad boys, I lose count. But a history-making one nonetheless. I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. Merchandise is coming your way. I'm Always Right Sports Podcast is decided to join up with belowthecollar.com. If you just missed our announcement at the beginning of the show, I'm going to tell you again anyway because I'm super excited about it. belowthecollar.com. /I'm Always Right PC is the link. You'll see it in the show description on both YouTube and wherever you like to listen to podcasts, whether that's Spotify, iTunes, we're there. So you'll be able to get all of your I'm Always Right Sports Podcast merchandise, including the show logo right here. You'll definitely be able to hook that up. Please go and support the show. Buy the shirt. We really appreciate it. All the funds that we get from the shirt proceeds will just go right back into the show. We don't make any money off this, guys. Everything that we've done, everything that we've had to give as far as monetary value goes, it all goes towards the show. It all goes for you guys. We really appreciate all the support. Like I said, once again, go to the belowthecollar.com. Not only buy our shirts, but if you have other favorite podcasts, they may be on the show or on the site as well. So go ahead and support all your favorite podcasts there as well. Musicians, artists, all that good stuff. Let's jump right in, though, Mike, to part 2 of the episode. Like we were talking about, it's NFL mock draft season is coming to an end. 2 weeks, Mike. 2 weeks. Finally, we can start talking about what we actually did instead of what we could possibly do. Mm-hmm. In my mind, just real quick, with all the talk that we've been doing, and we're going to do a trade here in another mock draft simulator, but do you feel like just a little bit that nothing's going to happen and we're just going to want to pick it at 3?
Yeah.
Because I'm really getting, like, with all the report, like, all lines are talking, people trying to trade down, I'm like, yeah, but it's not going to be worth it for them to do it, and,
I think last year, we had talks, and we were like, we probably won't pick at 8, but, like, if we do, we're picking Hawkinson probably, or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Like, it was like one of those things.
Yeah.
It's like this year, it's like, we probably won't pick at 3, but if we do, we're taking Jeff Okudah or whatever. Right. But, like, we're just going to end up picking 3 and picking Jeff Okudah.
Right, exactly.
And then we're going to come on next, or 2 weeks from now and go,
so we chuck out Jeff Okudah, and we really like the pick. Do you think, real quick, before we actually get in this draft, though, what is more likely for you, that something crazier happens in the first 2 picks, where somebody trades up with Washington, Miami? Peter King made a great example where he said there's some reports that Cincinnati likes Justin Herbert a lot, apparently. I don't know why, but okay. So, with that being said, say that Cincinnati goes, maybe we can trade down a little bit, still get Herbert, right? Say Miami is in love with Joe Burrow, right? They like him way better than Tua or Herbert, blah, blah, blah. Miami's got 5 number 1s in the next 2 drafts, 3 and 2 respectively. If they gave up 4 number 1s, like say 2 this year or 3 next, or all 3 this year, 1 next year, they would still have a first round pick next year. Mm-hmm. They still have multiple second round picks, and they would have Joe Burrow, right? Is that something for you that you could possibly see happening at number 1? Just before we actually get into this, because in every mock draft simulation ever, Joe Burrow's going number 1. Yeah. So in this case, though, do you think that's more likely than, say, the Lions trade down to, say, like 9 or something crazy like that?
I guess it could happen, but at the same time, I don't think...
I think it's a smokescreen, personally.
See, I think, one, I do think it's a smokescreen. I don't think you can pass... I don't think Cincinnati can pass on Joe Burrow because they're Cincinnati. Right. And that sounds awful to say, but, like, if we were picking number 1, and if we had the number 1 and we didn't have Stafford, and, like, everyone's like, you have to pick Burrow because he threw 65 touchdowns, 1 interception, and had 7 million yards. How do you not pick him? And we pick, like, Justin Herbert, and then we get screwed because Joe Burrow is the next Patrick Mahomes, and we have
we got Short Arm McGee,
or whatever. Then you just look bad.
Yeah.
So you at Cincinnati, if you're picking number 1, you have to pick Burrow.
Yes.
Because it's like the same thing where if
Chase Young falls
to 3,
we have to take
Chase Young because you don't want to be that team that picks Okudah, but Chase Young is the next J.J. Watt or Joey Bosa, and then you go, so we could have had him, but we have a good corner instead.
Right, yeah, he's good, but he's just okay compared to, right.
It's the same thing.
It's a loaded dice, man.
I don't see Cincinnati going out of it unless they get 15 first-round picks. I don't because I'm like, Joe Burrow can
Now, if you're Cincinnati, though, right, say something crazy happens, in an alternate universe, I could see them saying, we like Joe Burrow, but man, we really like Trevor Lawrence. So, and we take Chase Young, we're terrible, right? Or we trade out and then take a guy, Simmons, whoever, right? At 5. Miami gets their quarterback, blah, blah, blah. Now we've got 8 first-round picks to deal with, right? We say we get 3 this year, we're going to make the defense better, and then we're just still terrible. We have number 1 pick, take Lawrence anyway. You know what I mean? So
I think there's
some plausibility here.
That could happen too.
Yeah, I think that's why a guy like Jordan Love and Jake Fromm are going to fall more than I think people think are going to, because teams are going to go, we're going to be bad, but maybe we'll be bad enough to land him.
Yeah.
Or Justin Fields, because those are going to be the 2 big fish next year. Yeah, where you go, if we can land one of those guys, way better than any this over here is developmental. Where I got to work with this. This is going to step in day 1 and be my starter. You know what I mean? So a little bit of playing around there to do with. But let's jump into what the Lions are going to do. So what I've done is we're on the same ProFootballNetwork.com with the trade simulator. Okay. So what I've done for you already, because I think this is going to be most likely the option that winds up happening, is that the Lions trade with the Chargers. Now this mock draft thing is a little weird. They're very know about a lot of trades that a lot of people projected. So to make the numbers work, I gave the Chargers number 3 and pick 109, which is our 4th round pick.
Sure.
We get back pick 6, pick 37, their 2nd round pick, and their 4th. So we flip floors, right? We drop 3 spots in the 4th round, basically. We get 112, okay? Just to make the numbers work. So let's just say this is the compensation. Do I want more than this in real life? Yes, I do. But the way this was working, this is the only way I could really get the trade to work where we still get a 2, okay? So once again, you're going to be Bob Quinn. You're going to be BQ with that sweet baseball bat. We got to buy baseball bats for the draft to sit next to each other and go like this as he twirls it. You ever seen those videos of Bob Quinn?
Yeah.
Hilarious. Okay, so
we're going to Jordan Love first.
We're going to right? So we're gonna resume the draft now, right? We're going to see Joe Burrow, Chase Young, right? Now the Chargers take Tua. And then Isaiah Simmons goes 4 to the Giants. Justin Herbert goes 5 to the Dolphins. So in this case, right, this is probably somewhat of a dream scenario. The scenario I think that most Lions fans are hoping happens if they trade down, right? Is that Jeff Okudah is still there, Derek Brown's still there, all the tackles are still there. Is he the pick for you? Is Jeff Okudah the pick?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I make it? Whatever. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I've been hearing that other teams want to trade up, and even if we trade down, there's a chance that we could trade down farther.
Really?
That's what I want to do.
Ooh,
someone like a Jacksonville, would want to go.
Here's the thing now with that, right? And before we continue to go on, right, is that in this way, right? Derek Brown goes 7 to Carolina, Mekhi Becton goes 8, and then 9 is Tristan Wirfs. Jacksonville's 11. So they made a trade. I'm sorry.
They made a trade.
The Jets.
They would normally be 9.
Right. They would be 9. Right. Okay. So. In this case, though, right, say Jacksonville is at 9. If you can land Okudah there, cool. I don't think he gets by Carolina.
I don't think so either.
You know what I mean? They lost Bradbury. Josh Norman's been gone for several years, right?
Agreed.
That's a risk. And then if you move back down to 9, whoa, you better be getting some major compensation for moving back. You know what I mean? So I depending on the board falls, say, in all honesty, right? Say for whatever reason, if we make the trade with the Chargers and the Chargers just go and take Tua and then the Giants take Okudah, then you go, well, crap, that kind of blew up and everything. Then trade down at your will at that point. You know what I mean? But in this case, I like Okudah as the pick. CeeDee Lamb goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ruggs, C.J. Henderson. Jordan Love goes 14 to Tampa. I probably could have made this go a little bit faster, but
I was gonna say we are We are slugging in this round, guys.
Denzel Mims goes 23 to New England. We're only going to go for like the first couple rounds. We're not going to go through the whole draft.
Okay.
I have it set up that way, but we won't actually.
Okay.
All right, so now we're at pick 35. Just to give you guys some numbers, right? Xavier McKinney, safety out of Bama, goes 25. Denzel Mims, wide receiver out of Baylor, goes 23. He is a guy I think a lot of Lions fans wouldn't mind getting in the second round.
Who?
Denzel Mims out of Baylor, but he is continuously rising up a lot of draft boards. I've heard. AJ Espinoza does not fall in the second round. He is 18 to Seattle. Apparently Seattle made a trade there. Trevon Diggs goes to the corner. Javon Kinlaw goes to Carolina. You like that pick, AJ Espinoza for New England?
Because they have no pass rushers.
They gave up pick 27 and their first round pick next year to Miami. So Miami's getting 3 first round picks in this scenario. Okay, so now here, right? Pick 35. Cesar Ruiz was the guy you took last time at 35. Now here's the deal though. With the trade we make with the Chargers, you got pick 35. And pick 37. Here's where you get a little interesting, right? This is why a lot of people are like, man, you got a lot of good guys out there. Cesar Ruiz is out there. Patrick Queen, outside linebacker. Grant Delpit is there, which, man, it would be really hard for me to pass him up. J.K. Dobbins is there. A.J. Terrell. Where do you think that you would go?
See, it's tough because I think I might look at Jonathan Taylor.
Really?
As a power back. Just because I like Carry-On, but I think a 1-2 power back.
Do you like Taylor better than Dobbins? Dobbins is still there. That's what I'm asking.
If I could take Taylor in the second round, yes. Mm-hmm. My thing is, I don't think he makes it to the middle of this or
this is the top of. So we're pick 3, and then we have picks.
I know, but
5.
I think J.K. can be in the middle of the second or whatever. I don't think you can get Taylor in the same spot. I think Taylor's better.
Okay.
But I think,
that's all preference. They're the same. I mean, they're the same preference for sure. So
I just like 2 power backs.
Right, for sure.
Now here's where you have to play the board here. So in between us and our next pick,
let's assume we're no more trades out of the first.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Because honestly, the way the board has fallen, you could maybe move around a little bit more.
I agree, but I think so. We're 35.
Yeah.
Do the Giants take Cesar Ruiz here?
Yeah.
Because this is where you could play it. Because I think you could pick Jonathan Taylor.
Right.
They don't pick him. You get Caesar.
Right.
And you're in that 1-2 spot. You're in like a great spot.
Like, let's look at the defense, right? Marlon Davidson's still there, right? Zach Bond, the linebacker. Josh Uche, which I definitely think, especially if they make this trade, Josh Uche is, I'm almost guaranteed, on their board and is high on their board in the second and third rounds. Because, especially in this case, I think in probability, right, we're only going to do one of these because we don't get all the time in the world here. So I'm kind of agreeing with where you're going so far. But with where they're at as a roster, right, I think more likely the scenario, if they don't do any more trades, they only trade out of 3 to 6 and they get the compensation that we've projected to get, they get there, I think they could easily take Uche and then an interior offensive lineman.
Thanks.
And that's where they go. But I also don't mind your logic of Jonathan Taylor's there, he's the best running back in the draft. Oh man, you know what I mean? That's tough.
It's hard because if you pass on, because my defensive end of choice, if you can get in the third round, is Curtis Weaver.
Yeah.
I think he's very
you're
good.
Big, you're really high on him.
And if he's a high third, I don't think you really need to go D-line there. Mm-hmm. And I think linebacker you're pretty good at.
You got a lot of linebackers.
So you have a lot of linebackers. Sure. Now, if they're good linebackers, that's yet to be seen. But like you have the depth of linebacker to choose from.
Yes.
So, and I think your defensive backs with Okuda being picked, I think is almost firmed up there.
Trufant, Coleman, Awarie is your top 4.
Yeah.
Along with
Tracy and
Tracy Walker, Will Harris, Daron Harmon, right? Yeah. You got another guy too from the Jets as a corner too, who was a spot starter.
Yeah, so I think with that, I don't really think you need to go defense here.
Okay.
So which is why I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor and hope this falls the right way.
Okay, cool. All right, so Jonathan Taylor goes to the Lions, running back out of Wisconsin, and then Patrick Queen. Oh, so the Jets, so the Pittsburgh Steelers traded up. Okay. They gave up their 21 second, and they take Patrick Queen, which is kind of surprising because they took Devin Bush last year. I know Patrick Queen plays outside, but nonetheless.
They do run like a 3-4.
That's true. Okay, so pick 37
so 37
now. This has fallen the exact way that we would like it to, right? Mm-hmm. Cesar Ruiz is still there at 35. Is there anybody else, if this way falls, Where you're like, no, they have to take the best interior offensive lineman at this point.
I don't think they have to, but I think it'd be because I think that's where your weak is. Like, I do like Grant Delpit with you,
Oh, man.
like 100%.
I love Grant Delpit a lot.
Is our safeties good enough to get through this year?
Yes, they are.
Is our
And
O-line...
that's why they made the trade for Harmon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is our O-line good enough to get through this year? I don't know.
Yeah.
And with that question mark is why I would go Cesar Ruiz.
And honestly,
over
sometimes I know some people are gonna roll their eyes at the running back pick, right? But like, let's put this in perspective just for a second here, guys. You are the Lions. You have the number 3 pick in every single round, right? Except I think the fourth or something like that, right? So, and you're coming off a 3-13 year. You're coming off of a year where your coach is fighting to save his job. Your GM needs to hit. If we pick Cesar Ruiz here, Okudah is a starting corner. Jonathan Taylor is probably your starting running back.
Him and Carrion,
right?
Or 1-2 punches.
Right, exactly.
And you look at the Niners, now Niners have a way better offensive line than Lions do.
Right.
But when you look at the Niners, you see what their 1-2 punch can do.
Right.
Oh, Carrion gets hurt or is tired.
When Jimmy Garoppolo can throw 9 passes in an NFC Championship game, that's how you know that you've built something well.
Exactly.
Right? And so here, if we take Cesar Ruiz, you've got 3 starters in 3 picks. And we're not even at the 3rd round yet. So let's just put that in perspective for ourselves for a second. Do I love Grant Delpit at safety? Yes, I think he's awesome. But does he fit Tracy Walker's role? Yes. So you know what I mean? So there's other guys.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I don't think we need a safety. Like I do think like a 4th round, if you can steal a guy, sure, or whatever.
Right.
But I think you need the best interior offensive lineman. I think Cesar does that for you.
Okay, so we're gonna take Cesar Ruiz. Me and Mike are kind of mind melding on this one, guys. So stay with us. Maybe if we have enough time, I'll check our timing here. Maybe we can continue on. Okay, so Cesar Ruiz is the pick. So that was the other additional 2nd-round pick we got with trading with the Chargers. Okay.
See, Dobbins goes
Dolphins.
So
Julian Okwara, T. Higgins. Get Baltimore trades up. Get T. Higgins.
That's good for them.
Yeah. Cushenberry. We're gonna let this kind of play out here. I wish I would have made this faster, but Jalen Hurts goes 52 to the Rams. Zach Bond, Marlon Davidson. Oh boy, there goes Curtis Weaver, the freaking Vikings.
Grant
Delpit, dude, you're loving Seattle's draft right now.
Seattle's just banging their draft out.
Raekwon Davis, defensive tackle. Okay, so we are at pick 67 now, the 3rd overall pick in the 3rd round.
See, this is where you can go back and go, I think we might have messed up. And here's why. Because when you look at with the running backs left, I would also love to have Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the 3rd round, because I think he can work the same way. Now, Jonathan Taylor is much, much better, but I think if you get him in the 3rd and you can pick a defensive end that's just a top-notch guy in the 2nd, I think that probably works out in a better hindsight 2020 vision.
What's really blown up in your face in this particular instance is a couple things. 2, defensive end is bare now, and a lot of, you know what I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not... I'm not thrilled with those options. Honestly, you could go offense again. Brandon Ayuk in 3rd is a really good wide receiver that you need wide receiver help, but I don't know if you're going to be able to get out alive if you take the best if you take the best defense player on your board and then you go offense. With the team that's the offense with Stafford was playing at a high level, so you go, oh crap, you know what I mean?
Also, I think that Tyler Diaz out of Wisconsin, that center, I think can also do very well in the system too. Yeah. So I think that's where you can. It's just depending on how that board falls.
Okay. So the ball, it's fallen the way it's fallen. Okay. So, I think Raekwon Davis, what about Ross Blacklock? Those 2 picks right there, 62 and 64 respectively, I think those hurt a lot, because I think if you're Lions fans, you go, okay, as long as one of those guys falls, that's probably the pick.
Yeah.
In this case, where are you going? Are you going linebacker?
I'm going to go defensive end because I think we need something. Okay. So I guess I'll go Khalid Kareem out of Notre Dame. Hopefully that he hits. I don't know. See, at this point, I don't scout that far in the defensive ends. They probably have all these guys as teams and everything. You know what I mean? So I don't know who would be the pick here. I'm going to assume it'd be him because he's out of Notre Dame. So I'm assuming he's a higher quality guy. But I don't know too much about him. But you need an edge.
Brandon Ayuk goes to the Vikings, right? Okay, so we have one more pick in the 3rd. We'll probably do our 4th round pick too. And we'll see how we're doing on time here with the show. Anybody else really that's going... Oh, Clyde Edwards falls quite a bit. Wow. Okay, so All right, so now the way I'm looking at it, in my opinion, right, with the way this is kind of left up here, I think Lakey Fotu is probably needs to be the pick. If not that, probably. I think a wide receiver, one of the two, because in my, like, Don Peoples-Jones is still there. That's a guy. Chase Claypool, my guy, is still there. I like that a lot. I don't know if Fotu falls that far. Well, there's a lot of trades happening here later around here. Whoa.
Yeah.
I think Fotu in the 3rd or 4th round, I think maybe you could, I mean, there's a lot of picks here before round 4, but I think that would probably be the pick
probably.
in the 4th. What do you like better? I'm really high on Chase Claypool, more than I think maybe some others are. I think he's good hands. I think he's a big dude. He separates. He's not 4'2", 40, right? But I think his combine workout to me stood out. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, where's your logic?
I look at it as I don't think we need a wide receiver, as in, like, we need a wide receiver right now.
Correct.
Because I think you have 3 guys with Hawkinson that are suitable enough if they don't get hurt, obviously. I think defensive line is where your need is. So I think that who's Lakey Fotu or whatever?
The defensive tackle out of Utah, who fills the Danny Shelton role.
Exactly. I think you get that edge rusher, but you don't know if he's going to work out. I think you can secure that defensive tackle position up with Danny Shelton and him.
Okay.
And then, with Deshaun Hand and Romeo Okwara with him in there and Austin Bryant, I think you can formulate some kind of pass rush with those guys.
And then Trey Flowers and Jamie Collins.
And Trey Flowers,
right, for
I think
sure.
you can start doing that.
Okay. All right, so you want to take Fotu here?
Yeah, we'll take him.
Okay, so Fotu.
And then I think next round almost has to be wide receiver just for depth purposes.
Malik Harris, another guy of Ohio State. That's a guy I think that maybe might be on their board too. He's an outside linebacker, but that wouldn't shock me. Peoples-Jones goes to
Tennessee.
Yep. Gabriel Davis. New England goes offensive tackle, safety, tight end. Run on tight ends here. See, I'm glad we don't have to take tight end this year.
Yeah.
Tight end draft this year sucks. Dang, Chase Claypool went. Okay, now I got a question for you here as the draft's kind of falling. A guy like Zach Moss or a Cam Akers out of Florida State, right? Does that at all, if you're Bob Quinn, make you hesitate on taking a running back as early as we did in ours, right? Because here's my logic, just for a second, right? If you're using ours for a second, you go, all right, you took the best corner, you took the best running back, in some people's mind. I personally like Dobbins better, but the argument can be made, right? That you took the best corner in Okudah, took the best running back, you took the best interior offensive lineman. That's what you did in your first 3 picks, right? Theoretically. But, in that same note, you could have also taken maybe, say, one of the, maybe not the best outside linebacker, but a good outside linebacker, or a good defensive end, and waited till now where a guy like Cam Akers was there, Zach Moss you could have taken late 3rd, you got out of Utah. What, in your mind, would you have rather just had, like, nope, he's the best guy on the board, in a position of need, take him? Or would you go, this is a position of need, but maybe not as high a position of need, so maybe let's take the 2nd or 3rd best defensive end rather than taking the best running back? What are your thoughts on that trade-off, I guess?
See, I think looking back, I think you could have gotten running back later and gone defensive end.
Yep.
But I think when Jonathan Taylor's staring you in the face,
it's hard.
It's hard not to because he's ideally the best running back, and running back is not a secure position that you have set in stone. Carry-on's very good, but Carry-on also hasn't played a whole season, and if you have a 1-2 punch, I think you saw with the Niners and some of these run-based teams that I think Stafford works best when he can do play-action passes, and I think it just works as a whole, so I don't think you can pass up on Jonathan Taylor at that point, and I think I don't think it hinders because I don't think those guys, like the defensive ends that you mentioned, are going to just come in and be Nick Bosa's or something. I think you still have Trey Flowers and Deshaun Hand that are going to be your starting edge guys.
For sure.
I don't think anyone that you get at that point is going to help.
Okay, so we're just going to do this last pick here, round 4 here, and then we're just going to wrap up, and then after that it's everybody else. So, in my opinion, I think the best player for us is KJ Hill. For the wide receiver, right? So if we take him, right? So just to go, we're not going to go through all 7 rounds. We don't got that kind of time. We got other stuff to take care of on this show. But just to give you guys an overview of, we basically made the trade with the Chargers. We get their 2nd, and we swap fourths, and we get their. So they got out of that. They got Tua and Zach Moss. The Chargers did. We got out of that trade. We got Okudah, Cesar Ruiz, and KJ Hill. So you got at least 3 starters: Jonathan Taylor, Cesar Ruiz. you got better. Let me put it that way. You got better with this draft, right? The way if that falls that way, maybe you're not necessarily thrilled you took Jonathan Taylor there. If you think that there's a guy that can give you similar output year one, maybe a little bit later, I don't know. But that's the way the draft falls. Obviously, it's always if I would have known, then you know what I mean, kind of thing. So I like that draft though. I think a lot of Lions fans would be happy. Okay. After the break, we're going to go part 3. The mock draft went a little long for us. After the break, we're going to go AFC Conference Rankings All Quarterback Edition. Mike is going to be, Mr. Stickler here on ranking his quarterbacks within each division, and then he's also going to give us our top 5 in the conference outside of, I think, probably 1 and 2, I'm guessing. So outside of that, we're going to talk about all that good stuff after the break. Stick around.
Hey guys, it's the mouth of Michigan, Rob Van Dyke, and I know you've been tired of hearing me saying it, but I gotta say it again. I gotta scream it from the mountaintops. The I'm Always Right Sports Podcast finally has merchandise. That's at belowthecollar.com/I'm Always Right PC. You are gonna find that link on the screen right now. Go ahead, copy, paste that link into your browser right now. Go buy the shirt, support the show, and tell everyone you know. We thank you, we appreciate you, we love all the support we get from all of our fans. Now here's part 3 of this great week's episode.
And welcome back to a special part 3. We've been doing a couple of these, man. Mock draft stuff's heating up. Got quarterback rankings.
Just wait till the NFL season schedule comes out.
Oh my gosh!
Man, that might be like an 18-part episode.
I know. We're gonna break that down hardcore. We're gonna do something that we've never done before when the NFL schedule comes out. So be prepared for that. Me and Mike did it off air last year, just to give you guys a little bit of a hint. And It's a time-consuming one, but it's something that you can do with your friends at home. It's a fun time for sure, and you'll be surprised at what the results are coming out of it. Because you think you're a homer until you really break it down and you don't think about it. It's pretty crazy, actually.
And we're going to do the same thing for college football probably on the show, too.
Exactly.
Once this all dies down and Kyle can come back, it'll be a lot more fun
for sure.
Having all 3 of us do this.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be a good time. So, obviously, some really big stuff coming your way. A lot of fun stuff. A lot of what-ifs scenarios coming our way pretty soon here. But as we get through this whole coronavirus thing, let's go right into the AFC quarterback rankings. Now, the reason why we do these rankings for a couple reasons. One, Mike played quarterback in high school. He kind of knows the position. I'm a football coach for the youth level, so I'm dealing on the offensive side of the ball a lot. So, there's a relative stuff where, I'm not saying that we're the best evaluators in the world, but I will say that sometimes it's nice to be able to go, I see what they're seeing. You know what I mean? In this case here, Mike is the king of rankings, in my opinion. He really breaks it down for us and gives you all the know. So if you're a team that you maybe don't know where a specific position is at, be sure to write us at IamAlwaysRightPC.com on our contact page. If you want to know where you think the Colts are staying in at running back, right, where are the guys to go to? If you want to know what's Mike's thoughts on Phillip Rivers, we're going to get into that right now. So let's break it down here. Mike, what's the first conference or first division you want to go over?
We're going to go AFC East because it's the first one on this list I got.
Okay. Sounds good.
So we're going to go in order.
Okay, cool. So, all right, let's go. What first team we evaluating?
Okay, we're going New England.
Okay.
I think this is the most interesting team because you just got the loss of Tom Brady, obviously.
Yes.
So you're kind of not sure where you're at. At this moment of the recording, they're probably going to go with Stidham at quarterback.
Yep.
Could obviously draft a Jordan Love, Jake Fromm.
Yep.
Even reports that people want to see him jump up to try to get Tua. That's
crazy.
Iffy. They're going to give away everything to do that.
Your thoughts on just Stidham, though? Say they go in with Stidham and Hoyer as their quarterbacks. Where are they at? Are they hurting? And do they know that they're going to be hurting? And they're kind of okay with it if they're 5-11.
I think they're totally okay being 5-11 if that's how it has to be.
Right.
Because I think you can look next year and have that opportunity, which I would be off the wall.
Can you imagine if somehow Trevor Lawrence goes to New England?
I would go off the wall.
It's like Green Bay. It's like, oh, you have Favre. Oh, let's just wind up taking Aaron Rodgers. Like, son of a... Or you're the Colts. All right, we got Peyton Manning. Okay, we go through one bad year. I guess we get to take Andrew Luck now. Dang it.
Yeah.
Darn it, man. Life sucks. It's crazy when you think about it, but I think that may be the plan, honestly, unless they take a quarterback in this year's draft.
I also wouldn't be mad if they got like a Jordan Love, because I think he can develop and be great.
Absolutely. With McDaniels there, for sure.
Yeah.
All right,
but sticking to this season,
for sure.
I think Stidham is a guy that you can throw in. He sat behind Brady for a year or two now. I think he's a guy that won't turn the ball over. And Brian Hoyer the same way. Yeah. Whoever they decide to start.
Yep.
I don't think they'll turn the ball over too much.
Yeah.
And I think that defense is good enough where if you want to make a run,
Yeah.
I think you could still be a winning season football team. Just I don't see them going much farther because of their quarterback play.
Okay, let's talk Buffalo here. Josh Allen, they had a big year last year.
Big year.
That defense is phenomenal, but Josh Allen, jury's still kind of out on him.
Yeah,
right.
Josh Allen would be for me I will keep for about 3 years. I'm in the testing waters.
Where
right now
are
with
you?
Josh
Sorry,
Allen.
so now we're going into year 3 of Josh Allen,
Yeah.
right? Now, are you saying a 3 additional? So basically,
I'm going I think this is the test the waters.
Okay.
Because I don't know. You might be I can get 10 wins with you, but I can't get that playoff win.
Right.
Like you're in that boat where I'm like how Kirk Cousins is.
Right.
Where I'm like, you're very good in the regular season. You're mobile.
Yep.
You throw pretty well. You can throw far as
Yep.
crap.
Good athlete.
You're a great athlete.
Yep.
But when it comes playoff time and you're going against Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar
Right.
Jackson,
Can you keep up?
Are you going to keep up with them?
Right.
Or is it going to be, if our defense doesn't stop them, we're
Right.
losing this
We're
game.
screwed, right.
And we have to find someone to take us over the hump.
Right. So do you think? Let's just put it this way, right? Do you think that as long as Buffalo maintains some modicum of success, which this is their time, quite frankly,
Oh,
New
yeah.
England's on the downturn. If you're Buffalo, now is the time.
You have to.
Do you think that they think he's the guy to get them with the way their defense is playing? Sean McDermott, great head coach, great defensive mind. Do you think that they keep him long term? Like, let me put it this way: are they picking up his 5th-year option?
It's
A year from now.
It's all on this year. I think if you win a playoff game, I think you're secure with him because I think at that point you go, if we can win a playoff game with you, we could probably win multiple playoff games with you.
For sure.
However, if you go and you lose to the Texans again, you go, can we win a playoff game with you? It's kind of like Andy Dalton, where it's like.
Right. You're good, you're serviceable, we'll pull a good team around you. Okay, but now we need that extra oomph to get us over the top. Okay, let's talk Miami. Now, we're not going to talk Miami as far as I'm assuming they're going to take a quarterback, right?
I'm assuming it's going to be one, but we don't know who yet.
For sure.
So it's hard to discuss that one.
Fitzpatrick, Rosen, Jake Rudock.
At this point, I think they're probably in the worst position for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Turning into probably one of the better positions.
Right.
But at the moment, I think Fitzpatrick is serviceable. I think
he's a very good backup. Like I would have not like if he was a free agent, I would have not blinked an eye. Lions signed him.
Exactly.
Like, cool.
I think he's good for. I think
he's good for a young guy.
If you're going to be hypothetical, you're going to draft Tua or whatever you're going to draft.
Yep.
I think Fitzpatrick could play the year and then push him aside. There you go. Here's the starter.
For sure.
So I don't think he's long term, but he's
for sure.
immediate.
All right, Sammy Darnold, New York Jets. So let me put it this way, right? We've gone over the past 3. Is Sam Darnold the best quarterback as of right now for the draft? Is he the best quarterback in this conference?
He is.
Okay.
And I think the problem that he has is he has literally nothing on the Jets to work with.
Yeah.
He is the Stafford
from a couple years ago.
But like without if you took Calvin off that team, he's Stafford in like 2011 with that team. Like that's the roster he's working with basically.
Yeah.
He's working with Robbie Anderson.
Instead of Calvin, he's got Le'Veon Bell, but Le'Veon Bell's playing like butt.
Yeah, but like he's got Robbie Anderson, and he's got this guy, and he's got
I think Robbie Anderson's gone actually.
And he's gone now, but like he had him last year, but he just doesn't have the talent pool.
Yeah.
But if he had the talent pool, he'd be leaps and bounds where everyone else is.
Okay.
But without the talent pool, he's making do with what he's got.
I do say I worry about him just a little bit. I like Darnold a lot, but I think they're asking him to do too much, which is a reason why the interception number is so high right now. So I think he needs to cut back on the interceptions a little bit, not try to put it all on him. They need to get him some weapons, clearly. But if they do that, I really think that they could really give him a
100%.
boost. With Gase being there, you can say what you want about Adam Gase, but as far as quarterbacks go, he's a very good quarterbacks guy. Mm-hmm. So, all right, so rank them for me real fast.
So we're going Darnold, Allen, Fitzpatrick,
Stidham. How crazy is that New England's on the bottom of that? That is
because
nuts.
we haven't seen Stidham play. Now Stidham could uptake like a Fitzpatrick, but we'd have to.
All right, let's go AFC North now.
Yeah,
we're going to go AFC North. All right, so let's go. Let's just start the first one. Lamar,
best quarterback in the division. Not really even close. I don't think.
Nope.
And
it is Lamar. He's Lamar Jackson.
Like I'm sorry that we can't say too much.
MVP of the league. Everyone else talks enough about Lamar Jackson. Let's be real. All right, let's go to the Bengals. Let's just assume it's Burrow. Let's just put it there. Just because Andy Dalton's probably going to be gone, so I don't want to talk about the Red Rocket if there's no need to talk about the Red
Yes.
Rocket. We've seen that show. We got it. We got the T-shirt. It's awful.
Yeah.
So Burrow's the quarterback, right?
Okay.
Your thoughts on Cincinnati? I mean, you're good then, right? If you're Cincinnati, right now it's just building around.
Yeah, you're
Burrow.
just building around Burrow. You got a year or two to be able to build around and be able to okay, let's show you what we have with this team.
Mm-hmm.
They won't be good for another year or two,
Yes.
but I think eventually, if you can keep Burrow and you get targets with him, I think he can be. I think the receiving crew can make Burrow look good because AJ Green, if he can stay healthy for more than 5 games, but you got John Ross who runs a 4-2 on the one side.
Right.
You have some big threat weapons that you can run around with.
For sure. All right, let's talk. These are probably the two the more that are wishy-washy guys of all of them. Let's talk Big Ben first. I'm gonna say Big Fish really at the end.
Gotcha.
Let's talk Big Ben. He's been injured. He's been hurt, but he's he was still serviceable. He's still up there. I wouldn't say he's top 10 anymore, but I would say that he's in the middle of the pack. I think he can still make plays. The arm strength is still somewhat there.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Big Ben going into the season? Where Pittsburgh's at? They got Mason Rudolph. They got Duck Hodges, Paxton Lynch, and JT Barrett all on the roster right now. That's 5 quarterbacks. Good Lord. None of which are super enticing.
Steelers have to be looking for their next guy. However, I think you can get a year or two left out of Big Ben, probably.
So Mason Rudolph is not the guy for you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I didn't see anything from Rudolph that was I could see the potential in there. I saw more from Duck Hodges, I thought, than I did Mason Rudolph.
Me too. Yeah, for sure.
So if that says anything about how your quarterbacks are, I think you need to look into getting another one. Yeah. And I wouldn't be shocked if Jalen Hurts in the 3rd round is a Steeler at the end of this draft.
Yeah, that's not a bad take for sure. Yeah, I think
something like that.
A new regime's coming in Pittsburgh.
A Jake Fromm or something. One of those guys.
Like a Washington guy.
Yeah,
I think
one of those.
Guy. Yeah. All right, let's talk the big one now. Let's talk Baker Mayfield because I think this is the one that's going to propose the biggest uproar. Depending on what you say.
This is the hardest one.
Yeah.
For me personally, in the entire conference of the
yeah.
AFC, because I think he's good. I think he can play quarterback very well. I think a lot of the troubles is his offensive line. I really do. I think if he had a very solid offensive line where he doesn't have to run out of the pocket every single play, I think he could be a lot better. However, there's not a lot of excuses you can make because you have Odell, Jarvis Landry,
David Njoku,
right. And then you have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb as your running backs.
Yeah.
So when you have
Austin Hooper this year,
so when you have all these weapons and you're 6-9-1 or 7-9-1 or whatever you
and
are,
I think the big thing too is the interceptions are skyrocketed.
Yes.
Right, and we saw it a lot when we watched games against Baltimore stuff where if that first read wasn't there,
it's rough.
He was lost.
Yeah,
and I think scary.
I think the problem he's having though is I think he doesn't trust the O-line. Mm-hmm. So he's got the first read. When it's not there, he goes, I don't know how much time I can sit back here to look for another read.
Forcing it, you think?
I think he's forcing it more, and I think Stafford was having that problem too for a minute, where it was but he had Calvin as the safety blanket, where he went first read, it's not there. This pocket's collapsing. Let's just hit.
I think they're doing a poor job of incorporating the weapons that they have.
I agree. I think that's the problem. Is I think Odell is the first option. He's not there. I can't look for somebody else because the pocket's collapsing, and I don't think anyone else can make the play. Right. So I think he's forcing stuff.
Do you think? Right. I don't think the Browns are ever going to get it right, quite frankly. But do you think that Baker can be the guy though to really lead them out of this dark days time? Because because Cleveland and Detroit have been in similar situations for such a long time now, where it's I always felt when they drafted Stafford, even through the injuries, I'm like, man, this can be the guy for me that I feel like could lead us, and I think he has, right? I mean, we've won double-digit wins. It never happened before that. You know what I mean? So in my lifetime, at least, right? So. Stafford has proven to be a franchise quarterback, right? There are guys that have proven to be franchise guys. Do you think Baker is a franchise quarterback, or is this year, because I think year 3 is the year where I need to go, it's either we can build on it, or he is what he is?
I think this is the year where you have to decide, because I think with all these weapons and everything, and now they're building the O-line because they're probably going to take a tackle or a guard or whatever. They're probably going to take another interior offensive lineman in the middle of the draft. So you're going to, and then they got some guys in free agency. So now you're building your O-line. So now if you have a built O-line and you have all the weapons that we just talked about, and you're still 8-8, 9-7, you're not going to get them there. Now, however, I think that this year could be the year where they skyrocket and go 11-5, 12-4. I don't think they'll beat out Baltimore, but I think they could make a wild card and they could do some damage with the added team. I think they could be a 6 seed or 5 seed or whatever.
You think Stefanski's the guy to bring it out of them?
I don't know. I think that's tough. I think the coaching part's going to be the problem.
Yeah,
I don't think they have the right coach either.
This draft's big for Cleveland. It's
is.
bigger than people think it is because they're in the middle of the pack, but it's big. It's big because of what they've done, all the moves that they've done. All right, so rank them for me real fast.
So number 1, I got Lamar.
Obviously.
2, I have Baker because I think Baker has the potential there at this point.
I think that's fair.
With number 3 being Big Ben and number 4 being undisclosed Cincinnati starter.
Okay, right, for sure. You can't rank Burrow above another quarterback until you've actually seen him.
I've seen him play. And Baker at this moment, I would say Roethlisberger over time, obviously.
Right. Yeah, right. Of course. In the vacuum, right this second, I would.
I'd take Baker.
All right, let's go AFC South next.
Hardest division.
Yep, for
by
sure.
far.
All right, let's talk your boy Deshaun Watson first. Let's go right now.
Cool. He is the best quarterback in the division.
Yep.
Pretty much by a long shot, I think. I think he could really carry a team. Only a few quarterbacks can.
Yes.
I think he's in the realm of I don't think he's super mega star, but I think he's in that Carson Wentz, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson type area where he goes, I don't need a lot of stuff. I have an awful O-line.
Good thing, because you don't got.
Because you don't have a lot. But he goes, I don't have an O-line. I don't really have that dominant running back, and now I don't even have DeAndre Hopkins. But I think they can still.
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I think you could still get to 9 wins with just Deshaun Watson.
Especially in this division.
Especially in this division where I think Jacksonville and Indy can be a sweep in your division.
Let's talk the other. This is weird. Let's talk Phillip Rivers, the new guy on the block here. He's a Colt, 1-year deal. Former Charger.
His deal says, he is a one-and-done Indianapolis Colt, probably.
Yeah.
I think this is the year where Indy takes.
Do you think they take a guy? See, here's the problem though. They traded away their first-round pick, so you got to wait now for the second to go get a guy, and you're like, okay,
or Jalen Hurts or whoever you want it to be, whatever your system you want it to be. I think they would be more in the realm of a Jake Fromm or Jacob Eason.
Yeah.
Because
I think Eason is their hope.
Is their
hope in the second round? And they're like, cool.
Because your previous quarterbacks have been
you don't think
Manning and Luck and their pocket passing.
I think Brissett's not the guy, right? You don't think he can get you there? Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think Brissett also, if you want to include Brissett in there, is a
plus or minus on how many wins they get with Rivers this year. The way their team is built.
So they're 7-9 right now. I think they -1.
Wow, really?
Probably.
You think they get worse with Rivers?
Probably, because I think Rivers isn't the most sitting duck.
Rivers isn't great anymore.
At least some sitting ducks you get like a Brady or
he's a sitting duck.
He can see cover. He's just so assassin like.
Yeah.
I think Phil Rivers is a sitting duck that doesn't have great reads.
Yeah.
All the time.
For sure. Definitely the gunslinger is definitely more prevalent than ever. All right,
exactly.
Gardner Minshew.
The man with the stash.
Josh Dobbs is there as well, former Tennessee Volunteer, former Pittsburgh Steeler as the backup. They like Gardner a lot.
They like Gardner, but it doesn't work for me.
No.
Now, I don't know. This could be a tough one because I'm like, is it because their offense, literally, I can't name a single guy on their offense?
No kidding.
Or is it that he's just not good?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a hard one for me because unlike the Baker situation where he has too much talent and just can't use it, Gardner I don't think has enough talent and he's not good enough to propel them.
They don't have any talent over there.
Offensively, at least. Defensively,
they should still be stacked and they're still letting up.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're going through another rebuild without ever having the true success of them.
Rebuild?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't get it. All right. Ryan Tannehill, big man on the block, had his coming out party last year because of Derrick Henry. Got paid a boatload of money. A lot of teams fall into this. Do you think Tennessee's going to be another team where it's like, man, we think we have a guy because he, didn't maybe have success that first time, but now we're going to pay this guy? I'm really nervous that Tennessee made a huge mistake.
I do too. I like Tennessee. I think outside of Houston, I would cheer for Tennessee to win their division every single year, more than less. But I think they may have made a mistake. Now, they looked so much better, with Mark, because Derrick Henry was good all year. Mm-hmm. But when Mariota was there, they were 2-6.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden it was 7-1 the rest of the way with Tannehill.
Right.
So with Derrick Henry producing the exact same the entire season.
For sure.
So I think Tannehill can be your guy, but paying you that much, you have to give up something. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem is giving up.
If you let Derrick Henry walk after this year because they franchise tagged him, right?
That's right.
Then you go, what was the thought logic there? Because it wasn't Tannehill getting you there.
And it's the same place as Garoppolo, where I'm like, if you let your running backs go and you don't have that offensive line, I'm like, you might as well just let Garoppolo run because I don't think you're not throwing your way through. Tannehill's not throwing his way to a Super Bowl, but he can hand off play action pass his way to a Super Bowl.
Right, especially the way that defense is playing as well, for sure. All right, AFC West. This one's really, really top heavy, and then a whole bunch of woof after that.
That's what I was thinking.
You know what I mean? So let's get the obvious one out of the way. Patty Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl MVP,
league MVP, has 5,000 touchdowns already.
Is the backup still? How crazy is that?
And Jordan Thomas is the
backup. How funny is that though? That freaking Michigander over there. That's funny. Okay, but yeah, Patty Mahomes. I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on. I don't really think we need to, quite frankly.
And I think we can kind of take because the Chargers are not like they have Tyrod Taylor. He's serviceable for a year, but I don't think there's much after that. That you need a Herbert or Tua or whatever.
Right.
They don't really. They have an undisclosed quarterback too.
Probably, yeah.
I'm
interested in. Let's talk. Let's talk Drew Lock first. Okay. Denver. They took him in the second round. You got Jeff Driscoll and Brian Rapien as the backups. Drew Lock, though, this is since Manning retired. It's been a revolving door, right?
Yeah.
They thought they had Osweiler. They lost him. I thought Osweiler was the best one they've had since Manning, right? You tried Paxton Lynch. That didn't work. You tried Case Keenum. That didn't work. You tried everything under the sun. Since Manning retired, you wasted a couple years of that good defense because of it. And now you got Drew Lock. Thoughts on him? Is he the guy, or do we need to see more? Because I think I'm still in the question mark phase, personally, on him.
I need to see more. However, if you're going to look at a team, now, no one's going to beat Kansas City out in this division. Kansas City's getting to at least 12 wins next year, probably.
Yeah.
So, no one's getting past 12 wins against Kansas City.
No.
So, but if you're going to bank on a team to make a wild card spot in any division and any team in the AFC, I would bank Denver to get it.
Really?
Yeah. Denver and Tennessee are the two I'm pretty locked in if they don't win the division.
Really?
To lock in for a wild card.
That's shocking.
Because Denver has their defense, like Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, are a 1-2 punch that almost no one wants to go up against.
No, for sure.
I think their defense as a whole is very good, and I think Drew Lock showed. They've lost 3 games last year,
on stupid stuff. That Bears game was the worst.
Yeah, it was the roughing the passer, didn't even touch the quarterback or stuff. I'm like,
or the runoff, and they had a runoff second to get field goal. I think McVangio's a good coach. I think he's a good defensive coach.
I think, and they were 7-9 last year. So flip 2 or 3 of those outcomes, or even 1 or 2 of them, you have a winning season with Drew Lock at quarterback.
For sure.
So I think you could
not even the whole season, nonetheless. Yeah.
So I think you have a guy there that you can start building around. But I do need a.
If this year you see the progression, you go, okay, maybe there's a little something there. And I think he's the guy that needs to save John Elway's job, quite frankly. All right, now here's the one I think that is probably the biggest question mark. It may be in the conference, just with all the news and everything else, is Derek Carr. Now, let's put some perspective on this. Derek Carr gets drafted at Fresno State. He's the guy. First couple of years, they're on fire. Jack Del Rio gets hired. They're 12-4. He breaks his leg. Right before the playoff game. Everyone thought the Raiders are back, we're rolling, you got Marshawn doing all these things, blah, blah, blah. They're not back, clearly. John Gruden's here now. You've heard a lot of rumblings. Last year they thought maybe they were going to take a quarterback at 2 or 3, wherever they were falling. There was thoughts that Derek Carr was going to get traded. There was thoughts of a lot of different things. Last year, they went 7-9, 8-8, something like that? 7-9. Had an okay season, nothing to write home about, nothing to be like, wow, he was terrible, but nothing to go, wow, right? I would say he's average, maybe just below average, just above, depending on the game, week to week. Thoughts on Derek Carr? Because this is the one I think where Oakland needs to make up their damn minds.
Yeah, no, this is the year.
Now, they signed Mariota, too, which is weird.
Well, because Mariota's a great backup.
Yeah.
Mariota is the...
I would love to have him as a backup.
Yeah. Mariota's I will support you, and if I need to come in for a game or 2, I will play
that
game
Deshaun Kaiser and Nathan Peterman are definitely not answers. So.
No. I think this is the year, though, that you go... I think how the Lions did it, where they went 6 games, and they went, we're not doing anything, so let's tank it. I think... Oakland needs to go, okay, we're going to take about 5 or 6 games, and if we're 2-4... tank for somebody else.
Yeah, right.
We need a tank for Trevor or tank for Justin Fields or whatever. I think this is the year where you go. But if you start out 4-2, 5-1, maybe you go. Maybe Derek Carr is the guy. I think the early part of the season is really going to depend on how Oakland treats the season.
Right, for sure. And I think it's whether or not Derek Carr is a Raider after this season.
That too.
Frankly, if they start out 0-5 and they go, screw it. You know what I mean? I think they put Mariota in there. I think Derek Carr just sits. And they try to trade him or let him go because he got paid quite a bit of money too. I think people forget he was the guy who got paid before Stafford did, and you're on two ends of the spectrum, quite frankly. No offense, but like Stafford had 19 touchdowns in 8 games last year. Carr had 18 touchdowns all year. So, you know what I mean? Like, put that in perspective just for a second here. All right, rank them for me, top 5. Give me your top 5
top
right
5,
now.
we're going...
Spoiler alert for the first couple, I'm sure. But
yeah, we're going Mahomes, then Watson,
Wow, so you have
Lamar.
Watson over Lamar right now.
Yes.
Why?
Because I think that Watson does more with less.
Okay.
Like I think he produces, and it's my argument with Russell Wilson being in the top.
I do think
area.
he's a better arm than Lamar does.
I think that Lamar. I just think like you have Brandon Ingram, you have all this talent on Baltimore. I'm like, you better succeed in Baltimore. You like this year, especially with Sean Watson not having DeAndre Hopkins, having a bad O-line still, and having Brandon Cooks to throw
they
to.
got David Johnson.
If they
I love he doesn't even acknowledge me.
No. If he gets if Deshaun Watson could play to 9 or 10 wins, I'm like, those 9 or 10 wins are basically all yours.
Right.
At that point. Where Lamar, I'm like, you get 14 wins, you probably impacted like 5 of those games.
Okay.
So I put Watson above, but if Lamar can throw next year, then we'll see.
All right, cool.
Number 4, I will take Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Pretty efficiently, and number 5, I will take. Wow, that got caught real fast.
Ooh.
Probably Baker at number 5, but there's not. It's tough there at 4 or 5.
You know what's funny is when we did the NFC one, you just go, wow, there's a lot of talent in the NFC
There
as
is.
far as quarterback play. And then we're going through this, and I didn't really realize it until we started talking about this, where I go, Josh Allen, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jared Stidham, Sam Darnold. Like, you just start looking at the names, you go, wow, there is not a lot of great quarterback play. Like, you can make the argument that Miami, New England, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, the Colts, Jacksonville,
Oakland,
and the Chargers. That's 17 or 8 teams, if I could count. 8 teams
out of 16.
Out of 16 that need quarterbacks, could take a quarterback in this year's draft or next year's draft.
And
that is insane.
And there's a couple of teams where you like Denver, where you could
Denver go question mark. Tennessee, I still think is a question mark. Cleveland, question mark.
Yeah. There's 3 quarterbacks.
Buffalo, question. There's a lot of teams where you go, they can upgrade probably.
Yeah, to me, I think there's 4 quarterbacks.
Boy.
And then after that, I think you go.
It's a crapshoot after that. Yeah. Good Lord. Well, because let's just real quick for a second as we go back to last week's episode, right? Carson Wentz and Dak, right?
Cool.
Good, right? Stafford, Rodgers, Cousins, all within some realm of each other, right? Breeze and Brady, and then kind of Bridgewater, I guess, right? And Matt Ryan week to week, and then you've got Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, and then Garoppolo and Goff, right?
Who can all relatively play.
Right, like if Garoppolo was in any other division in the AFC, he's at least a 2, if not the best quarterback. I'm not saying something because I can't stand Garoppolo.
Garoppolo, like AFC East, like on the Patriots right now, would be the best quarterback in that.
Aaron Rodgers needs to get traded, is what I'm saying. Is that because if Rodgers got traded to say like the Texans, or not the Texans, I'm saying like if he got traded to say Tennessee with that running game and that defense, and for Tannehill or something like that. It's them, Kansas City, and Baltimore fighting over who goes to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, holy crap,
which is why I was
one-sided.
This is also why I argue that even though I don't agree that Patrick Mahomes may be the best, I think you're going to see his name and that team in the AFC Championship game probably for the next 10 years.
I really do actually want to see that game, though. I want to see Baltimore.
I do too, 100%. Like in a playoff game.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I just look at it and go, out of those 2, you take away those 2 teams, like, I like Watson, but that team's not very good, and the rest of the teams I don't see getting there and, like, competing there.
Real quick here before we wrap up this show, I just want to ask one thing, because we didn't do a ton on Lamar, so I'm going to bring it back to Lamar real fast. Do you think, what's more likely of a scenario for Lamar Jackson, okay? He has Michael Vick's career, or he's got Donovan McNabb's career. Now, what I mean by that is, take out the dogfighting. I
was going to say,
take out the dogfighting, but we'll talk about McNabb was able to get to a Super Bowl. Theoretically, probably could have won one, honestly, with the couple, because he had several. He basically was the reason why Philly was Philly for a long time. With Andy Reid, right? I mean, James Thrash and Todd Pinkston were your receivers. That's a rough go. But when you got T.O., he went to the Super Bowl, yada, 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 right? He had a solid several years. Or Vic got to an NFC title game, then got killed by said Eagles, but never got anywhere close to that ever again, right? Where electric player, put up major numbers, was a runner, not the best thrower, still electric, right? Could build a team around him, but never get to the end.
I think he would end up in that exact scenario. I think he'd be more like McNabb.
Okay.
But I think he
just because he's got a better team around him to help him get there.
I think because there's so less teams that are competing in the AFC at the moment. I think like you go to the AFC Championship 5 out of the next 6 years against Kansas City, you have to win one of those, right?
You think, right?
Like you're taking that many shots at the dartboard.
Every Buffalo fan was like, "We went to 4 Super Bowls in a row and didn't win them."
Yeah, I guess, but like you have shots because your team is that good for the next 5 years or whatever. Like you have to get there at least once, right? Like you would think so. Kansas City's not going to represent the Super Bowl for the next 6 years.
Let's hope not. Yeah,
Because
just a thought, right?
So.
Just a thought. I mean, I mentioned a couple years from now when we come back and we'll be like, okay, what is he really? You know, so this next year
I think
really
he'd be
interesting.
big, but
yeah,
I think with Super Bowl appearances, maybe not wins, but Super Bowl appearances.
Sure, for sure. All right, that's going to be it for this week's episode. Once again, new merchandise, belowthecollar.com. Make sure you go there, buy the shirt. The design should be going up pretty quickly here by the time you guys hear this. Hopefully it'll be already there by now. If not, keep checking back. That's it for this week's episode. For the Missing Whaleman, for the Missing Brain, he's the Merc Zone.
I'm here.
I'm the Mouth of Michigan, and we will see you guys, as always, next time.